Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are going to be talking about inflammation. We're going to be talking about some really great foods that are going to help reduce inflammation and really what inflammation is all about. We realized you could have lots of questions, and Dr. Justine has made herself available. For any questions that you have, please feel free to give her a text. I wanted to welcome Dr. Justine and Dr. Udani, who are here with us. Dr. Justine is our leader here at Justine Blaney Wellness Center, and she is a passionate warrior for health. And Dr. Udani is our naturopathic doctor here at Justine Blaney Wellness Center, and she really is passionate about so many areas of health, including women's health and stress, chronic pain, so much more, and a wealth of information. Please help me welcome both Dr. Justine and Dr. Udani today.
Hello, everybody. So we've got great stuff today about how to reduce inflammation, 12 foods from Dr. Jocker's articles to share with you. But upcoming, we're going to talk a little bit more about inflammation. We're going to talk about our metabolism makeover, how to lose weight faster, but just improve your overall body's mechanics and how to digest food better. We're going to talk about aging and then reduce that, the speed of aging. And we're going to have a talk for our kids and our young ones. So every week we have awesome information to share with others. Today we're talking about healthy foods, 12 foods from Dr. Jocker's article that reduce inflammation, because foods have the power to heal. Foods have the power to improve your health, and foods have the power to prevent disease. So super important, all this great information. And as you think of these 12 foods, think of 3 or 4 that you don't usually eat, and how can you add them into your daily habits?
I love that, because the food that we eat help us fight diseases. And one of the biggest, most common diseases right now is autoimmune. So autoimmune conditions can affect so many different parts of your body, so many different organs. It's over 100 different types of autoimmune disorders right now. And it actually is getting more and more common. So for example, you can have something like rheumatoid arthritis, where this is so painful, joints, they're red and swollen. You can have skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, lupus, lots of rashes. Those are all autoimmune conditions. Even digestion-wise, things like celiac, IBD, so Crohn's disease, these are all also have an autoimmune component to it. So these foods that we're going to talk about today are going to help you figure out how to manage this inflammation that is fueling these autoimmune diseases. And you might be asking, what is an autoimmune condition? So this is where our immune system, which should be working to protect us, actually ends up attacking us. So in a normal immune response, our immune system recognizes a foreign, it could be a virus, could be a bacteria, it could be any kind of foreign particle, and it releases antibodies to attack and kill it. And that way, and after that's killed and gone, everything turns back to normal. But in autoimmune conditions, what happens is the immune system is so overactive because of inflammation and other things that it starts to attack our own body, so our own organs and things like that. And this is where we have to retrain the immune system and also lower that inflammation that's fueling this in the first place. So how does inflammation affect our body? I always think of inflammation, especially long-term inflammation, like this forest fire. It keeps going, it keeps lighting everything up, and before you know it, there's a huge inferno going on in all of your bodies, and your organs start to really show symptoms. And you don't actually have to show any symptoms for you to feel like something's off. Even things like chronically feeling tired, not being able to focus, having diarrhea all the time, having pain all the time. Those could be signs of inflammation affecting your body. So a lot of times you can even notice with your joint pains, your muscles, if they're really fatigued all the time, or you have swelling in the morning, or they're just like the joints keeps hurting, that could be because of inflammation. and that's fueling this autoimmune condition. And there are ways that we can lower our levels of inflammation so that we start to feel better. So what can be causing autoimmune diseases? So there's 7 factors, and one of them is gluten sensitivity. So if, for example, if you are sensitive to gluten, you will have higher likelihood of having celiac disease, higher likelihood of having more diarrhea, losing weight. So gluten sensitivity is a big component of autoimmune conditions. GMO, so genetically modified organisms, so crops, and they're really heavily sprayed with pesticides. That can be a factor of autoimmune conditions. Gut dysfunction. So it's a big passion of mine is to make sure that your gut is functioning properly. And when it's not working properly, your immune system can be super triggered by even the littlest thing, and then it goes into overdrive and starts to attack parts of your body that you do not want it to attack. Neurological stress, so chronic stress that we experience with work, family, our lifestyles can really put our body into a fight or flight even more than it should be in the rest and digest stage. So when that happens, that can drive inflammation and autoimmune conditions. Toxins that we're exposed to every day, from chemicals and in the foods that we eat, to toxins from the containers of the food that we use, can also affect it. Chronic stress and adrenal fatigue is a big thing right now these days. We're exposed to so much stress for the past 2 years that we're kind of, if you don't have those habits to manage it in a healthy way, that can really burden your body with inflammation too. And we also can't forget infections, viruses, parasites, bacteria. When you're under stress, then they take over. They get more, they get more fuel. They start to multiply more, and they can affect the immune system too. And one of the big things is, food sensitivity, especially with gluten. So a lot of times when a patient comes to see me, I ask them, do you feel like you have a sensitivity to gluten, like breads, pasta? When you eat it, do you feel really bloated? Do you feel really tired? Sometimes it could be things like eggs as well, and dairy too. So those are the 3 main common sensitivities that I personally see with my patients. But what is a sensitivity? Sensitivity is, it can develop at any age, and it can be in a very high number in the population. So this is where, even if you think it's normal that you were a little bit bloated because your friend's also bloated, that doesn't mean it's okay. That does not mean that you should keep ignoring it, because there could be something underlying, like inflammation, that's feeding it. And when it comes to food allergies, usually you get it when you are younger. As a child, you develop it, and they tend to be way quicker, right? So, for example, if you have a nut allergy and you eat nuts, you almost get that anaphylactic shock very quickly. You get hives and rashes, and that can be very more serious and more very fast acting. But food sensitivity can be much more less severe, but long lasting, can go on for years sometimes until you find that out. So in these cases, don't guess, test, like Dr. Justine says. Always get it tested to make sure that you don't have these sensitivities. And there's so many tests that I do for my patients that I would love to talk to you about, so that you know that you're not alone with trying to figure out what could be causing these sensitivities.
I have so many allergies. So I was born like a red tomato, just covered in a full rash, full body. And now at 49, still managing different allergies and food sensitivities. And a lot of times with the food sensitivity, you don't know you have it, and they just build on each other. So you don't realize that you could have had 3 or 4 food sensitivities, and then it's the last one that just throws you over the edge. So I have found that even though I'm not allergic to wheat, I do a lot better when I don't have wheat and I stay away for gluten. So but you can also improve your allergies. I used to be allergic to milk and to eggs, and now I can eat milk and eggs. So it does change with the right techniques and the right team around you, and it can really, really affect. I know when I was younger, if I ate chocolate, immediate headache and migraines. Um, and so people would laugh at me because I couldn't eat the Halloween candy at all because I would get sick. And different things that had toxins on them and pesticides on them. So, for example, having Chinese food, I would easily be in the bathroom within an hour. My body knew that I could not eat that. So we do have these different immediate reactions and then not so immediate. So for example, yesterday we had um Indian food, which was amazing. It tasted delicious, but the next and I didn't think I was allergic to any of it. I tried to stay within my comfort foods, but I woke up, I have a rash from my chest all the way down to my hips. Red dots all over my stomach. It doesn't hurt, but clearly there was a food allergy there that I wasn't aware that's in the foods, even though they tasted fine and I didn't have any immediate, trouble with breathing having it. So, and it's not that Indian food's bad. I just got to figure out which one was the spice or the product, or maybe some of the food unknowingly to me had gluten in it. And gluten and some of these allergens can be hidden, and you think you're having something gluten free, and yet it's in a sauce in order to make it thicker. So those areas when you're eating out, you have a little bit more risk to be affected by allergies and food sensitivities. There are definitely foods to eat more of and foods to stay away from. So when you look at the foods that you want to limit, that's the fake breads, the white breads. They're typically full of a ton of toxins. Any bread that doesn't go bad quickly, and because if there's mold, it goes for things that are healthy typically. So if it doesn't go bad quickly, typically there's chemicals inside it. You want to go for the whole grain, whole sprouted or Ezekiel. We want to stay away from those fried foods, the bad oils, the soda pops, the juice is a huge one that has so many more calories and sugar in it that's hidden. Even things like iced tea and lemonade, full of toxins, or if you're going for the Dairy Queen, turn it upside down blizzard. If you're going to have that treat, go with extra small. There's no need to have a big one unless you're sharing it with someone else. And then definitely looking at different types of oils, different types of dairy that you're having, so that you're going for healthy proteins, grass fed, free range, wild. You're going for healthy vegetables. If it has a thick peel, you can sort of get away with not being organic, but otherwise, if it doesn't, aim for organic when you can. Adding those healthy fats, adding those healthy oils, that greens, the onions, the tomatoes, the fish, aiming towards adding coconut, looking towards adding spices like rosemary, garlic, chives, as much parsley, as much as possible to add those spices and greens onto your plate. So as we go into the 12 foods, Dr. Udani and I want you again to think of 2 or 3 that you don't usually eat to add. So your fatty fish, because I don't eat meat, this would be something that I would do at least twice, if not 3 times a week, changing it up. But again, I'm going for wild, not farmed. So I'm not increasing my mercury content. And so having canned tuna doesn't quite count, all right? Because there are chemicals on the inside. There's a reason why that tuna doesn't go bad, all right? Olives, so it gives you the healthy fats, turmeric for your healthy anti-inflammatory, your berries, your avocados, more greens, more cruciferous vegetables, more healthy oils, mushrooms, healthy herbs. And then we're going to talk about bone broth and collagen to help those joints. So salmon's one of my favorite. I think I have it pretty much once a week. Get that wild salmon. My husband's great at it. Sometimes he'll have different types of nuts on top. Other times we'll have a healthy mustard on top, or other times it'll be like lemon spices. So you can change it up. I recommend not trying to go for the like honey glazed sugar on top of your salmon, because this is where you're getting your healthy fats. It helps your heart function better, helps your skin function better, helps your vision, helps you get those minerals. And remember, your brain needs healthy fats. So it's
Mhm.
going to help your brain function and your memory as well.
I love that. And another great one is olives, basically olive oil specifically. I recommend 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil a day. It's so good for heart health. And you want to make sure that it's not cooked or it's not too heated up. Fresher the olive oil, the better it is because you're preserving those antioxidants that the olive oil has. And always make sure you go for the extra virgin olive oil in those glass bottles. And if it says first cold press, that's even better. That means it has even more of those antioxidants. It's an extraction method for the olive oil, and that is like considered the first, the best extraction for the olive oil. And it's the most of the fat of the olive is in this oil, so it has more of that healthy fat, like Dr. Justine mentioned. Great for brain, great for cardiovascular health. It's lower in sodium than olives, which tend to be more like pickled or fermented. So it's a better option than if you were to just have the olives by themselves. Though, if you let's say you go travel and you go to Italy and you just happen to be there when it's the olive picking season, amazing, go for it, because that means those olives are so fresh, they're so full of those antioxidants, that is a great option to have too. But when you're over here, go for that extra virgin olive oil in those dark bottles. And turmeric is an amazing, I call it like a wonder herb because it's a spice, but has so many good antioxidant benefits. It's a yellow spice, and you can add it to, you can even make a little latte from it. So you put a little bit of turmeric in, a little bit of tiny bit of honey and tiny bit of nut-free milk, dairy-free milk, or grass-fed beef milk. And this could be a very, very comforting latte in the cold months. And you can add it to food as well. So turmeric can help with arthritis, a lot of inflammation like that, and brain health, helps with digestion. It's a great warm spice, and it boosts your immunity as well. So there's actually things called turmeric shots that you can drink. It has a little bit of ginger in it, a little bit of turmeric in that, a little bit of black pepper. And if you're brave enough, you can put some garlic in there too. And you just take it like a shot, and it works amazingly for boosting your immune system, especially if you have like sore throat and colds and things like that. And it can help with lowering your cholesterol levels. It's a great herb to have in your cabinet. Give it a try. It's just a wonderful, wonderful herb to have.
So berries are one of my favorite. We already heard that Dr. Udani likes her blackberries. I love my raspberries, but berries are lower glycemic. They're healthy in those antioxidants, so they're going to help your heart. They're going to help your skin. They're going to help your collagen. So when we're looking towards adding fruits, it's just so careful that we don't eat too many, because it still turns to a sugar. But if we're looking to add fruits, let's add those berries for anti-inflammatory. And as we get back to healthy fats, add avocados. You can look at all these amazing things that the avocado can do, and helping your heart, helping your digestion, helping your immune system, helping your muscles, your skin, your teeth. What doesn't it help? It has all your good B vitamins, C, D, E, K vitamins. It is a master antioxidant, a master antioxidant. It has your potassium, it has your magnesium, it has those good healthy fats in your body. So when we talk about how do we add it, because some people don't like the taste or don't like the texture. For me, I love avocado with, on my gluten-free keto bread, and I'll put Himalayan salt toast. Amazing to have avocado toast. Some people add a tomato on top, and boom, you're ready to go. But others, you might hide it in a smoothie, you might hide it in a salad, you might have it with your eggs, so that it actually helps you to feel full faster.
Mhm. I love avocados too. It's one of my most favorite vegetables slash fruits to have. It's just so good. And speaking of vegetables, making sure that you eat your greens. So these are the leafy greens. Always go for the leafy greens. And if you can get organic, please get that. Or what you can do is you can soak it in vinegar bath or soda bath for 20 to 15 minutes to just eliminate some of that pesticides, especially when it's out of season. There's traveled a lot. But leafy greens are amazing because they're so full of vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin E, all the vitamins basically in these leafy greens, and they're full of fiber, and fiber can really help you have regular bowel movements, go to the washroom better, and also help with lowering your cholesterol and blood sugar too. So one of my favorites is kale. I love my kale. We grow it in our backyard every summer, and we have like the most delicious kale recipes. We put it in the oven. You can make kale chips from it. You can even steam the kale with some garlic and a little bit of black pepper. And there's so many different ways that you can incorporate these greens into your diet. And if you don't like the taste, you can always mask it, like Dr. Justine said, in a smoothie. And that way you get that into you as well. And another great antioxidant is in green tea. So green tea really help with reducing DNA damage. So this is really important when it comes to autoimmune diseases and inflammation. And a tip with green tea is you don't want to make it with freshly boiled water. So you want to actually leave the water to be a little bit cooler and then make the green tea, because if you use boiling hot water, it can actually damage the antioxidants in the green tea. So that's a tip. Or you can even steep it in cold water and just drink it throughout the day. That way you are getting all of your everything that the green tea has, all the benefits of that into you. It's also a great depuffer for your eyes. So you can put some tea bags under your eyes when you wake up in the morning, and that can really have a great effect in there too. And cruciferous veggies. So Dr. Justine mentioned she can't handle raw broccoli and raw cauliflower and things like that. So this is a great way to still get this and not have like bloating or any kind of those reactions. And so steaming broccoli, steaming those cruciferous vegetables like Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, can help break down the outer part of it, like the tough part. And that way it's easier for our bodies to digest it. And sometimes what I really do is I just put in a saucepan, put half a cup of water there, and then I let it steam for like 5 to 10 minutes. And that really softens it up so that it tastes great, and you can still get that into you. And broccoli is a great actually, all cruciferous veggies are a great way that the liver uses to detox your hormones. So it really helps with making sure it decreases like risks of certain cancers like breast cancer, endometrial cancer. So making sure you have these cruciferous veggies into your diet is a really great idea. And cooking them helps you absorb even better. Coconut oil is one of my favorites. I love my coconut oil. I put it in my coffee. I usually use coconut oil or olive oil to cook. It's a really great oil because it has a very high melting point. So that means it's not gonna go bad like olive oil does if you were to use in high heat. And it is sometimes it gets a bad rep, but actually it has something called medium chain fatty acid. So this is actually, coconut oil has that more than any of the other oils that we usually eat. And it can be really good for our health, for heart health, for overall health, to have these medium chain fatty acids. So when you are at the store, the grocery store, go for that extra virgin coconut oil. Don't be worried, even if it looks like it's solid. That saturated fat is actually good for you. It's the medium chain fats. And if you have any questions about coconut oil or anything like that, you can always refer to Dr. Jocker's talk about in the autoimmune diet, because there's so many benefits of that we shouldn't really limit taking that coconut oil into us. And mushrooms are a fantastic way, especially if you're a vegetarian. I've had recently the mushroom burger. So it's a portobello mushroom. That's, it's basically the burger patty. It tastes delicious. So incorporating mushrooms into your diet is a really great way, because they're so full of so many nutrients, antioxidants. They're filling, and they can help with stress as well. So a lot of times, a lot of the supplements I recommend will have a mushroom extract, because it can help with stress. dealing with it better. And so things like mushrooms like reishi, lion's mane are some of the ones that have more of those properties. But it is another great mushroom. I add mushrooms to many of my dishes just because of the flavor it adds to it too. Carminative herbs. So what does that mean? So carminative really means is that it helps with reducing bloating. So whenever you feel bloated, having some of these herbs in a tea or by itself can really help with lowering that bloatedness, and can also help help with your digestion too. Can also increase your appetite by increasing the stomach acid. So it helps digest everything together. So ginger, fennel, cinnamon are one of those great examples of these herbs. And adding them into your diet can be as easy as just sprinkling some cinnamon in your tea. Having a fresh slice of ginger in the morning. My mom does that to me all the time. She's like, have your fresh slice of ginger in the morning, so that way you don't get a cold. So these are like these home remedies, but they still add so much of that antioxidants into your body. And another great one is bone broth and collagen. So now you can actually either make this at home or you can buy it. There's some amazing brands that offer organic bone broth and organic collagen. And collagen is a building block for our proteins and for our muscles and just in skin, hair, nails, all of them in general. And bone broth has so many of those nutrients that in the bone itself, like calcium, potassium, and all of those nutrients. So sometimes what you can do is actually you can use this in soups, add this into those stews, use it as stock, or you can even drink it by itself too. So this is another great way to add some of that collagen, some of those minerals into your diet, and making sure that it comes from organic sources. That way adds even better. You get even more of a benefit from that too.
Amazing. You see all of those 12 foods. Think of 2 or 3 that you can add more of to be more aware. Remember that we can have food sensitivities. I've definitely suffered from different food sensitivities or allergies. Some of the most common are gluten, dairy, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, soy. Soy is hidden in so many things, wheat, and different types of shellfish. But remember that sometimes these symptoms may not be obvious. They may graduate over time. And certainly people who have autoimmune conditions do need to be very, very aware of any sensitivities, food sensitivities, or food allergies. As we look at some of the food sensitivities, sometimes people are more sensitive to nightshade vegetables. So to look at some alternatives here. So potatoes, it definitely would be better to go with a yam, but I love cauliflower. So whatever somebody else would do with a potato or even rice, I will have cauliflower rice or cauliflower with cheese, the same way somebody might have it as a potato. So we look at things like eggplant, which can be great, green vegetable, but you may want to replace it with, since that's nightshade, with a mushroom. If we look at all of your peppers, some people also, they get an upset stomach with raw peppers, but they could switch it to celery. A great treat would be to have celery with, my kids used to would put almond butter with raisins for ants on a log. You can look at radishes, great way to add those again into your salads or your smoothies, or just as a snack with hummus. And zucchini or cucumbers would be great. Next one is tomatoes. My mom loves tomatoes, but as a nightshade plant, sometimes that's not something that's going to sit well. So switch that with beets or carrots. And finally, sometimes as cayenne pepper, you might need to switch with black pepper. I've never really had white pepper before, but that would be another option. Some of the pro-inflammatory foods, definitely processed meat. I know I grew up with bologna sandwiches on white bread, if you can believe it. That's what we thought my mom thought was healthy. So staying away from, the hams, the processed meats, and looking towards make an extra chicken that night. And then you can slice it up to make for sandwich meats if that's what you enjoy, or slice it up the next day for on a salad. Looking towards staying away from the white bread, even brown bread. You're really looking for Ezekiel, whole grain, or sprouted. Careful with all of our condiments with sugars or in pops or juice, definitely in candies, can avoid. And our farm fish is definitely going to have more mercury. And finally, just things that are processed, whether it's from muffins or treats or candies, processed foods at fast foods, condiments, everything that's processed usually isn't good for you. And they are going to increase your inflammation, which is going to increase your pain and your fatigue levels. Now, even if you do all the right foods, you still need your nervous system to help you digest it. You still need your brain to send a message all the way down your spinal cord to that digestion. If there's any interference, you're still not going to be at your best. So, as a chiropractor, we want good gas in the tank, but we still need to take care of the engine and the brain of the car. So, take care of your engine, take care of your car, to increase your body to use these good, healthy foods. When you have great chiropractic care, that improves your sleep, your energy, helps you deal with stress, improves your mood, helps your strength, your mobility. And what it's going to do is avoid some of those injuries, the areas that affect with that bad posture, your moods, and help reduce the need for different medications, different types of stressors and anxiety. Stay tuned with us. We always have this great information. Dr. and Udani, our mission together is to help you be your best. Take 2 of these 3 foods of the 12 foods that we discussed with you and start adding more of those each week. Even if you said, next week, I'm just starting more with this one. Start with one. You can do it. Stay tuned for our upcoming talks. Amazing. Stay in touch, share with others. They are all free. It's all of our mission to give back to you. And of course, connect with us and do a review because it does help others. Thanks and stay tuned. We look forward to being with you again soon.
Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a great night.